Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering another highly underrated film from Dreamworks,
Over the Hedge.
Not Edge.
Hedge. A scheming, that's cruel. That's harsh.
That's what they call them.
A colorful raccoon.
That means he swears.
A colorful raccoon named RJ fools a mismatched family of forest creatures into helping him repay a debt of food by invading the new suburban sprawl that popped up while they were hibernating. And he learns a lesson about family himself.
Yeah.
Aww.
And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
Absolutely. And hopefully, Isaiah, you're listening because we know how much you love this movie, which is what you do.
And it's another movie you don't hear a lot from Dreamworks when it comes to recognition. The three heavy hitters for Dreamworks currently in terms of movies are Shrek, Ever Legendary, How to Train Your Dragon, and Madagascar. Those are the big shots. Over the Hedge is sort of like with Shark Tale and some of the other lesser known films, or less appreciated movies, I should say.
Yes.
They have an audience, but for the time they came out, they just didn't hit anything for critics to get, trending or anything.
Well, who cares what the critics thought? Because whenever you see these movies and you see how much it costs to make them, and then you see the take at the theaters, it's like, critics be damned, excuse me. Nobody cares because it's, they make double and triple and sometimes more what it costs to put into the movie.
Right.
And then, decades later, people are still loving these movies, remembering these movies. The movies are actually still selling in DVDs.
Right.
So you can't always go with the critics now.
Exactly.
I'm going to say this. I know critics have jobs that require them to be subjective and give their opinions, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But you can't always base how you like a movie on what someone else thinks.
Right.
Sometimes you have to look and see it yourself. And it's fine to read reviews, to listen to reviews and so forth. I'm all for that. But there are some movies like this one where the critics have gotten it wrong.
Yes.
And I have to say, Bruce Willis, they really dropped the ball on this one. He was brilliant as RJ. He had never done, if I'm correct at this time, he had never done an animated voiceover. And he was brilliant. I mean, all that personality he has. Bruce Willis was RJ. Mm-hmm. It came through in his performance. And they missed the opportunity of having several sequels after this.
Right, or
even having him voicing another character. He was brilliant. They missed it.
Right.
They really dropped the ball.
And it's perhaps they're just soon to be in movies like Die Hard. That's the only films they want him to be in. Because, as you know, Hollywood likes to typecast, so maybe he had done action films so well, they didn't want to see him in a family-friendly film. They didn't want to see him in anything voiceover, anything that wasn't like Die Hard.
But the viewers did.
Right, exactly.
It was great. And, of course, the rest of the cast was, too. You had Wanda Sykes, you had Jerry Seinfeld,
Patrick Stewart,
William Shatner,
Ben Stiller.
Oh, my gosh, you had so many.
I'm sorry, Steve Carell, that's what it was.
It was a star-studded cast, and they all were fantastic together. You had this synchronicity that worked between them. I think that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And you didn't capitalize on doing that again. It's
right.
What?
And again, it's like Shark Tale. It's a weird parallel because it's another case
synergy.
Where you, yes,
that's what I'm looking for. Synergy amongst them, and you didn't capitalize on
right. And it's this weird dynamic we see with a lot of these types of movies, especially for Dreamworks, like this and Shark Tale and a few other films. Critics and reviewers online don't like the movie, can't stand it, don't like the characters, so forth. But you get to spoofers and who watch the movie and they really, really love it. So it sort of comes down to how the mindset is. Are you looking for a fun movie? Or are you looking for something to be on the level of Madagascar and Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon? Because not every film has to be. It can just be fun and that's it.
But they were also fun.
Yeah.
In addition to being wonderfully written and so forth, they still were fun. And this movie was just as fun as all of those. You really, in the fun department, it was at the same level.
Right.
This movie was absolutely fun. And yes, it had a simple premise, a simple basic art, but it did what I've said many times before. It took the same old story. Some people said, oh, it's the same thing. Yes, it was the same old story, but we saw it in presented in a different way with a stellar cast.
Right.
They made it interesting and fun.
Right.
And presented some lessons in addition.
Right.
It's wonderful.
And the good news is that it gets more praise now because we've seen where they've had more recent reviewers say how, you know, it actually stands out for subverting some tropes. Like, it doesn't go exactly how you think. It has the same premise of some other movies, but they subvert expectations. They have good twists and everything, and it makes the movie more interesting, especially with, you know, the characters. You know, of course, you know, the animals is already going to get you in,
Right.
but some of the jokes they do and the play on words and RJ knowing all this stuff about humans.
Right.
And apparently all humans do is eat. They consume and nothing else. And they say, oh, that is what it's called, an SUV. It can hold humans in there. How many humans does it fit in? Usually one.
And they had, the humans were just vile and horrid and mean.
There were no good humans.
Right, and it was a stark contrast against the happy, friendly, sweet animals. And it was funny. I mean, it was really funny in this way because they took the worst of the worst and put them with the best of the best. And
Right.
I thought it was a fun contrast.
Right, like the homeowner lady,
Yes.
and then the Verminator, I think,
Ugh.
and
Yeah.
the bear. Like, you have one bad bear, but
Right.
you have any good humans? So I guess that was hilarious. Like, no, all the humans don't like you.
Right.
You're in the trash, even though they threw the trash away on purpose. So it's funny, and him and RJ teaching them about all the human stuff. Like, he introduced
Yes.
them to Doritos, and he lists all the ingredients that made them delicious. They were all the actual ingredients and chemicals in it.
Yes.
Like, and he said, good old MSG. He actually knows all the stuff in it, and like, that's what makes it tasty. And then the animals, you know, the turtle, what's his name, Vern. He has the way it's always been, where they get fruits, nuts, berries, and other things in the forest. Now it's like when you give a kid a treat.
Right.
He's telling them human food, and then most of them didn't even want to forage anymore. They just want all the human snacks, the chips and the donuts and
Right.
everything. And it was like, no, I want a donut, not some bark.
All of the characters had their own individual personalities. Most of them were sassy. And I loved the possums, of course, with William Shatner being the dad.
Oh, always
And
playing
teaching them
dead.
yes, it was hilarious. Oh my god.
Rosebud. And every little thing set him off to play dead.
Yes.
He got some, there's her sound. Some stuff on him. Oh, Dad, it's just snow. It could have been a predator. And then there's at one point in the movie, he's got put a whole performance as a distraction, and I guess he thought he was in the Rosebud movie, and he did a whole thing, and all the kids say, can I poke him? His mom said, no!
But this was all throughout, and Hammy was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, Steve Carell.
Yes.
And he even did a scene in there that you thought Sonic the Hedgehog would have done centuries ago.
Yes.
With his little hyperactivity. If you know the scene, and it's like, it was one of the coolest scenes ever. Like, not expected, but it was a really nice touch. And then you saw Sonic do it, and it's like, you should have done this in one of your games a long time ago.
Exactly. But in the animation on top of it as well, DreamWorks is great at doing fantastic animation.
Right.
You know, if they didn't like anything else, they should have liked the animation. It was great as usual. But this movie, definitely, if you haven't seen it, is one you should watch because it's fun. It's absolutely fun, and it's sweet, and it's hilarious. And again, these are voice actors who at the time were not voice actors. They were superstars, and they all voiced these characters brilliantly. And I know Wanda Sykes has done other animated characters. I mentioned Bruce Willis. They just dropped the ball on that. Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry said Jerry Stiller?
No. I do mean Seinfeld.
Oh.
I put the names together. Stiller hasn't, and neither has Seinfeld. They haven't voiced any other characters that I know of that are animated.
No, you saw Jerry Seinfeld for B-Movie. That was it. You really didn't hear him in anything else after that.
It was Jerry Stiller, not Ben Stiller, right?
No, Jerry Stiller was in a movie, but just not B-Movie. Jerry Seinfeld was B-Movie's Barry.
No, but I mean in here.
Oh, you mean here?
Yeah, because you said Stiller earlier.
Yeah, because I thought someone was in here.
But yes, these are people who at the time were not known for voice acting, but they were brilliant, and their personalities came through in the characters and in the performance perfectly. So you could have really just taken these little characters, especially the shiny skunk, and just replaced them with the human counterparts, and it would have been just as great because all their personalities came through wonderfully in portraying these characters.
Right. And I think it's a movie a lot of people should see. You know, if you're a hardcore DreamWorks fan, and we know that, you know, not every single movie is gonna be on the level of the three we mentioned, but every movie has its charm, and every movie is a gem that they make.
Absolutely.
Every once in a while you have a sequel, it's just like, no, please don't. But it's rare. It's rare because they have a really great talent making these really fantastic imaginative movies.
Definitely.
Like with Turbo and stuff that like just don't get recognition and stuff in media and for likability. So
and
it
they're
deserves
great
more
at
love.
storytelling. They're great at taking again something that's basic or has been done a million times and presenting it in a way that's fun and new. Like My Hero Academia, like Horikoshi. They are experts at doing that. And I'm sure there'll probably be someone who says they don't agree, which is fine. But in our experience in watching the DreamWorks movies, they are brilliant at script writing for animation.
Exactly.
So if you've seen Over the Hedge, and we really hope you have, let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you haven't, you gotta see it. It's worth not only a purchase if you can't find it. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix or not, or Prime, but get it from your library. Or take the money and invest it, because you'll be so happy that you bought this movie. And you'll wonder, why didn't I watch this before? Why did I sit and listen and wait all this time to see this movie? This movie is fantastic.
Right.
And it's definitely underrated, underappreciated, and deserves a lot more recognition, even all these years later.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, and be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Hit her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in the form of a locket. People in the back, for the people in the front. For the people on the side, for the people on the front. For the people in the middle or the alley, one of off and everybody who